told her. I walked a long path through the woods, calling to Uncle Feather. Where are you, stupid? We used all his favorite expressions, but he didn't answer. There was no sound except for the foghorn in the distance. Uncle Feathers, you're playing a game, right? Fudge asked. Let's hope, I said. The path led us down to the water. There were a couple of houses overlooking the harbor, but it was too foggy to see any of the boats. We'll start here, I told Fudge, stopping in front of an old white house with black shutters. We climbed the steps to the front porch. I'll talk, Fudge said. He is my bird. Okay, but don't waste a lot of time. I rang the bell. Ding, ding. A woman about Grandma's age came to the door. Have you seen Uncle Feather? Fudge asked, getting right to the point. Uncle who? She said. Uncle Feather. Why, no, at least I don't think so, but come in out of that fog and tell me all about him. We followed her to the kitchen. You can call me Mrs. A. My husband and I live here all year round. Where are you boys staying? Through the woods. We have a swing. Oh, yes, I've noticed a whole gang at the house. There's Mommy and Daddy and Tootsie and Grandma, Fudge said, ticking off names on his fingers. And Buzzy Sr. and Sheila, Libby, Mr. and Mrs. Tubman, and Turtle, Jake, Uncle Feather, and me and my brother Pete. This is Pete, he said, pointing at me. He is not supposed to talk. Mrs. A looked at me. That sore throat is going around, she said. I had it myself last week. What you need is some hot tea with lemon and honey. Before I had the chance to explain that my throat was not sore, Fudge made himself comfortable at the kitchen table. Something smells good, he said. Mrs. A set out a plate of cinnamon buns. Fresh from the oven, she told him. And I'll bet you could use a nice hot cup of cocoa, too. I could. I didn't have any breakfast. Why, that's terrible, Mrs. A said. On a morning like this, you need a big hot breakfast. I tugged at the sleeve of Fudge's liquor, reminding him that we didn't have time to waste if we were going to find Uncle Feather. But he ignored me. Mrs. A poured Fudge a cup of cocoa. Then she poured me a cup of tea. She stirred in a spoon of honey and squeezed the juice from a lemon wedge. That should fix your sore throat, she said. I didn't tell her that when I'm sick I like Moe's herb tea, or that Fudge's cocoa smelled so good I could feel my mouth watering. There are times when it's better not to say anything. Mrs. A joined us at the table. She helped herself to a cinnamon bun. I can't resist them, she explained with a guilty look on her face. This is good cocoa, Fudge said, slurping with his spoon. Thank you. Mitzi says my cocoa's the best. Who is Mitzi? My granddaughter. She's 5. I'm 5 too. Well, you have to come by and meet her. She'll be here tomorrow. Okay. I'm getting married soon, but I can still have friends, right? That's right, Mrs. A said. Everybody needs friends. She didn't ask Fudge about getting married. Instead, she watched, fascinated, as he unwound his cinnamon bun and picked out all the raisins. He piled them up in the corner of his plate. Finally, Mrs. A said, I certainly hope your uncle's not out sailing in this weather. I hope not to, because he doesn't know how to sail. Oh, dear. He is not even supposed to go outside. This sounds serious. Have you called the police? Not yet. We called the search and rescue team. Are they coming soon? They are already here, he told her. That's a relief, she said. What does your uncle look like in case I see someone who fits his description? He is mostly black with yellow feet and a yellow nose, Fudge said, stuffing the last of the cinnamon bun into his mouth. Mrs. A seemed surprised by Fudge's description. I could tell she was thinking hard. Then her face lit up and she waved her hand around. Oh, I get it. Your uncle's a scuba diver. Does Uncle Feather know how to dive? Fudge asked me. I'm not sure, I said, getting up from the table, but we really got to go if we're going to find him. When we got to the front door, Mrs. A took me aside and whispered, Is your uncle all right? Upstairs? She tapped the side of her head in case I didn't get the point. Hard to say, I whispered back. Then I shoved Fudge out the front door. Thanks for the snack. Come back tomorrow, Mrs. A called. Okay. As soon as we were away from the house, I grabbed Fudge by the arm. Why didn't you tell her Uncle Feather is a bird? She knows that. How does she know? Everybody knows Uncle Feather's a bird. No, she thinks he's your uncle. My uncle, that's really stupid. Right, that's why you should have told her. She thinks there's this guy running around in a black wetsuit with yellow flippers and a yellow face mask. This guy who's a little weird upstairs. And I tapped the side of my head the way Mrs. A had. And that he's your uncle. Come on, Pete. That's what she thinks. She doesn't know Uncle Feather's a minor bird because you didn't tell her. You have to give the facts. You have to say, my minor bird is missing. He's mostly black with yellow feet and a yellow bill. Not nose, I told him. People have noses. Birds have bills. Get it? She made good cocoa. If you stop for cocoa at every house, we're never going to find him. Never. Never. Fudge started crying. That's not going to help. I dragged him along the rocky beach, hoping we would hear Uncle Feather calling to us. But there was no sound except the waves breaking against the rocks. We went to 3 more houses along the water, and Fudge made it clear that his minor bird was missing. But no one had seen Uncle Feather, although they all promised to keep a lookout for him. So we trudged back to our house. Sheila was